Let's give it up for cast and crew of Mortal Kombat. Let's hear it a little bit, all right? I'm going to introduce the panelists. First up, producer Lance Sloan. Next up, Executive Vice President of Network Programming for Machinima, Aaron Debevoise. Okay, next up, Director Kevin Tancherone. Starship Troopers. Kevin will be right here. He's waiting for his grand entrance. Next up, Brian T., who plays Liu Kang, also seen in the Wolverine opening next week. Next up, Ian Anthony Dale, who plays Scorpion, also seen in the Wolverine. Next up, Samantha Joe, who plays Katana, also seen in Mortal Kombat Legacy. And then, of course, Ed Boon, creator of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah!
Thanks for coming, guys. All right, so this first question is for everyone. How did you guys feel about the first season of the show, and what impact did that leave of the energy level going into the second season?
I think that's one for Kevin.
That's one for Kevin, but Samantha?
Yes. I think, as all of you know, Mortal Kombat is a passion project for all of us. So after season 1, we were just stoked that we got to work on a Mortal Kombat, let alone a second season. So going into the second season with, 70 million views from you guys, thank you very much. It's made it possible.
Kevin Tancherone, a new challenger has appeared.
We only had all the best energy going into the second season. It was just season 1 amped up and crazy.
Yeah, we actually, we knew we had a quality, exciting product with season 1. I think we were all a little surprised, but very pleased with the success that it had. But we all felt a responsibility with season 2 to raise the bar and make it bigger and better and more exciting. And I think we were able to succeed. And we can't wait for you guys to see it.
Now, Kevin, who came in a little late, I will say, the first question was, how did you feel about the first season, and how did that raise the stakes going into the second season?
I was very happy with the first season. When the first episode hit, I had a knife on my wrist, hoping that people were going to like it. And then as the responses kept coming in, I saw a lot of positivity, and then I think the first episode's up to like 18 million or something like that. So I was thrilled that the fans, obviously there's some comments that were negative, and I read all of those as well and took that in. But when it came to time of season 2, we wanted to do what the fans asked for, which was show the tournament and show fatalities and have bigger character arcs, and I think that's what we've accomplished in season 2.
Nice. Now, I've got a few more questions prepared, but I want to give everyone here the opportunity to ask some questions. So we're going to be taking questions via Twitter. So tweet using the hashtag MKL2SDCC, and we'll get to those after a few minutes. But once again, it's hashtag MKL2SDCC. We'll start reading those a little bit later as they start to come in. Next question, where did you guys shoot this series? And what was the shooting like?
We shot in Los Angeles, actually, and we shot all over Los Angeles, and we shot about 90 minutes in 13 days, which is incredibly crazy, especially with all the visual effects and the fighting that we had to do. Everybody here basically did their own stunts and learned all of the fighting in a day or half a day. And it was hectic, but we tried to plan it as much as possible. I'm sure they had a lot of grueling hours. I don't know, you guys want to talk about how it was?
Yeah, I think for me it really felt like a feature film. You know, we shot, like he was saying, in 13 days, and really a giant passion project for all of us. You know, the cast and crew, and really kind of put our creativity together and created what I think you guys will really enjoy.
You know, during season 1, we felt extremely rushed most of the time. There was a lot of running and gunning. You know, scenes had to be shortened, some scenes had to be cut entirely, and I think as a result, the product suffered to a certain degree. And, you know, we learned from the mistakes we made in season 1 and tried to rectify those ahead of season 2, and one of the things that we did was we dedicated more time to the rehearsal process. And we all got together, the DP, the director, camera operators, and mapped out cinematically how we wanted to film these fight scenes prior to ever stepping on set. So it was nice to be prepared in that way and have a good idea of what we were going to do every day we stepped on set. It made for a much smoother shooting process.
Yeah, I would think that, I'm at Machinima, and I would say that what's interesting about season 1 is that it actually started, you know, obviously with Kevin's passion project for the short. I think the season 1 was a lot longer than just, you know, the start of episode 1 for Legacy, and you could see that it being an authentic kind of nature of the first season was a result of kind of shooting it the way that he did the first short, in kind of a very quick, you know, full of energy, full of passion, entrepreneurial way, you know, really from someone that had a, you know, was a fan of the franchise, and it just showed on screen. So everybody, I think the audience loved it, we loved it. It was just an awesome, you know, process.
Yeah, Kevin's like the perfect guy to be helming this project because really he's the ultimate Mortal Kombat fan. And he's got such a great vision, and you know, that was evident in Mortal Kombat Rebirth and season 1, and it's really on display in season 2. You guys are gonna love it. Hope you guys love it.
Now remember, right? Give it up. Right?
We're also going to show you a fatality later. So.
All right, so now remember, tweet your questions to MLK2 SDCC. And if you're having trouble getting connected, worst case scenario, we'll just open it up to the floor, but we're hoping that it's going to work through Twitter. There's a lot more action this time around. I've gotten to see about half the show so far. Jealous? Yeah, you guys are going to be stoked. There's a lot more action. Does that raise the stakes for, like, you talked about the production preparation, but as far as the physicality, like, what kind of training does that mean you guys had to go through?
Well, I think for a lot of us, I think we'll all agree that we had some of the best stunt guys in the world. You know, we had Larnell Stubble, who would choreograph all of our stunts, and then we had the great Garrett Warren to kind of put everyone together and coordinate everything. So for, I think everyone here, we had at least a month to train and to do the choreography and train with each other, which, you know, and a lot of times you don't have the opportunity to have. So to have it on this, especially it being Mortal Kombat, and it's very stunt heavy, very martial arts heavy, you know, it was just a blessing, and you guys are gonna have a blast watching it.
I mean, it was a huge difference in comparison to season 1, where we learned the fight maybe a day or two before, and in the case of my fight, we had literally like an hour and a half to film it. This time we had several weeks to prepare, and then like 2 full days to shoot. And so the quality of the fights and the brutality and everything is just so much improved in the second season. And you guys are going to get to see some of that, and hopefully you all like it.
You're like, bring it on,
Yeah.
We'll get to that. We'll get to it. Now, these are really iconic characters, right? These are not just video game characters. These have really transcended that world. We've got movies, we've got this series. For everyone here, what's it like working with these iconic characters? And is there pressure with legacies and just your own ideas around them? And how do you get past that pressure?
Talk to Casper. Johnny. Well, actually, I got to point something out though. These characters are very iconic, and yes, we tried to raise the bar, but I don't think we've raised the bar as much as these guys. Can you stand up? Because it's Scorpion and Sub-Zero and Floaty. That's something that I probably never would have done.
Yeah.
But Ed Boon, I think that should be a DLC character. I don't, in working with NetherRealm hand in hand, they were very, very open to some of the ideas that I had, and we went back and forth and collaborated quite a bit. Obviously, these characters are incredibly iconic, and we had to keep everything that everyone loves. Scorpion had to say "get over here," of course. Sub-Zero had to do his freeze.
In English this time.
Yeah, in English this time. Kung Lao had to have his hat. Johnny Cage had to be a douchebag. Liu Kang had to have a fireball, and Katana had to be a badass chick. But beyond that, I think we were able to stretch the story and add character as much as we possibly could. And that's all thanks to the actors who brought it out.
Yeah, I mean, the fans are going to have such high expectations. These are characters that they grew up with, that they've been playing forever. How can you ever live up to everybody's individual expectation? You just can't. All you can do is try to, do the best portrayal possible, infuse the character with the humanity and a real performance. And you just, with Scorpion in season 2, I hope to God that I was able to be badass enough to do him justice, because man, he's one of the most iconic of the bunch, and it's a big responsibility. I just hope I pulled it off, and I hope you guys like it.
Yeah, it's definitely intimidating when you see people walking around as the character. I've seen several katanas walking around, and they already have an image of it in their head, and everyone already knows the story of Katana and of Scorpion and Sub-Zero. So to be able to do that justice, we just want to see what you guys like about the characters and bring that to life. Ultimately, it's about connecting with you guys. So it's definitely intimidating, but one of the best experiences and one of the most rewarding as well.
And sometimes you're just born to play a character like Casper Van Dien was born to play Johnny Cage. Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
Those sunglasses are a natural look, I think, right? Right?
He's got sensitive
I
blue
sort of
eyes.
lost my voice, but when I was told that Kevin was interested in me playing Johnny Cage, I looked at season 1 and I went, it's amazing. And then I went, wait a minute, Johnny Cage is a D-list actor? So what were you trying to say? And you know what he said when I asked him? Oh yeah, you're perfect for this, you're perfect.
So we talked about some of the difference in production and kind of preparation. What are some of the, I don't want to make you give details of the story, but what kind of stuff thematically can we expect that are different in this season?
I just want to interrupt real quick. Cinematically, I had to look at what pair of sunglasses I wanted to wear. I had a lot of choices.
Did it
And
take
for
a long
those of
time?
you who are fans of the first film, we do, in fact, ruin his sunglasses again. And they're more expensive than $500.
I'm still pissed.
I'm sorry, man.
What was the question?
We can keep talking about sunglasses. They are a good choice, right? Good choice? Yes? Right? There you go. All right, so what are the differences thematically that we think that we can expect between the first season and the second season?
Fatality.
Thematically, you will have more Johnny Cage in season 2 than you didn't see in season 1. So, what I love about Johnny Casper, there is that comedic element to it, and I think in any drama that you watch, it's those comedic moments that are really, really true to life that bring the audience even closer to the characters and to Mr. Johnny Cage over here, and that's what kind of drew me into it. I feel that this season, in its script and what Kevin created and everyone here kind of created, is to go into the characters much more, their relationships and their rivalries, and I think that's what
And their
the audience
sunglasses.
and the sunglasses and us are really, really wanting to get more involved in. The sunglasses.
That's my character development. That
Dude,
much,
it's
y'all.
important. I don't know. It's important to know too. This season is one linear piece. The first season, when we bounced around a lot, and it was 10 separate episodes. This season, they all tie together, and I think that's a big difference too.
Yeah, season 1, was all about the origin stories. Season 2 really focuses on the Mortal Kombat tournament. And you're going to see some really great rivalries develop between some of your favorite Mortal Kombat combatants and some that end in the most spectacular of fatalities.
Yes.
Now,
You want to bring caged.
I want to bring Ed into this conversation. Ed, you've created one of the most iconic franchises in video game history, really. What's it like seeing these different iterations between movies and TV, but especially this series? And
I kind of associate it with comic books. There's really Superman has been represented in a number of different kinds of universes. As far off the normal canon as like Red Sun Superman or something like that. And ever since the kind of introduction of the Mortal Kombat Rebirth, I think Kevin kind of defined a new universe of Mortal Kombat, a more contemporary, a more present day, more little more dark, a little more sinister version of Mortal Kombat, but still with those kind of accents of humor that so each character kind of maintains their like the essence of what they were, but in a presentation that's a lot more contemporary. And that's, to me, is the most exciting part, is just seeing it reimagined in such a powerful way. Kevin's just clearly such an obvious fan of the game, and it really shows with the work.
now, Ed, can you? I think that's a round of applause. Absolutely. Now, Ed, can you share some of your inspirations for some of the characters from Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, the first movie, I'm a child of comic books, movies, and that's the ultimate influence in all of the games that I worked on, And if you think back, Liu Kang was, a little bit of Bruce Lee and Enter the Dragon. Raiden, I don't know how many people you saw Big Trouble in Little China. There's a lot of inspiration. Yeah, I didn't work on that movie. And there was a lot of, like the ninjas and all that. So, Kano was actually inspired from Terminator 2, just when he was getting shot, you saw the thing there. So we're just a product of that. And so, it's kind of like, video games, comic books, movies, and it's kind of like this full circle thing. So a lot of our inspiration originally was from movies and comic books and that we've seen. That's our main influence.
Now, this question is for Kevin. We've seen a few different iterations of Mortal Kombat. How do you want this one to stand out from the rest?
Oh, damn. I definitely want it to be better than the second movie. I just want it to be able to kind of hold its own. I know that this is a beloved franchise that's lasted for over 20 years. And with that comes a lot of things that are tagged along with it. Different expectations, things that people have come up with their own fan interpretations. And with this, I just hope they can appreciate it as its own entity. Now, whether people love it or hate it, I think at least to appreciate the ambition is something that is probably the most important to me, because taking something like this and trying to revamp it is a task because there's so much history to it. And so I hope at least, the ambition was appreciated.
All right, this question's for everybody. Without spoiling anything, are there any standout moments that people really should be looking forward to?
People die. And they fight.
And do we hear the F word?
Fatality.
Oh, yeah.
And Scorpion magically learned how to speak English.
Sorry about that, Japanese, y'all. I mean, I tried my best, but we win English in season 2. But no, for me, the things that stood out, one was Casper's portrayal of Johnny Cage. I mean, there's such a natural humor to the character. I mean, it adds the perfect amount of comic relief, and it's so much fun. And
It's like method acting. It's like he's playing himself.
he's playing himself. Man, like I said, sometimes a role is just meant to be. Another place where that's actually the case is in Brian's portrayal, his tortured portrayal of Liu Kang, and he's kind of the emotional anchor of season 2, and his performance is phenomenal, and you guys are gonna love it, and really the fatalities. I can't stress that enough. You guys are gonna love the fatalities, and you're gonna see one in a little bit. I can't wait to see your reaction.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up. Fan reaction and fan interaction has been a big part of this series. How do you feel about that? Like, that's got to feel good, right? How do the fans be that passionate?
I'm a fan myself, and seeing what Kevin created, along with Ian in Rebirth, kind of just blew me away. And then Ian and Kevin both, yes, it was unbelievable, and you guys all saw it. The fans really kind of speak to the creators and what they want, and created a season 1 for Mortal Kombat that they completely crushed, and now it's season 2. So it feels, for me, much more connected to the fan base, and me also being a fan, I feel connected to the series and really, really wanting it to explode, and I feel the fans allow us to do that.
That was the beauty too, being on Machinima, was to be able to just launch this series and then instantly see the reaction from you guys, and instantly get feedback. And being in a studio, for us to kind of sit and look at that and really organically look at that and say, wait a minute, there's something, maybe we should do a feature film, or maybe we should do a second season, with Machinima, and that's the beauty of it, is that you instantly see the reaction and comments, what people loved, what people didn't like, and coming from the film side, and we're during the process of season 1, I was developing a movie with Robert Downey Jr., and he got to just watch the process from the very first day I met Kevin, which was 4 months later. We launched the series on Machinima. Like, a guy like that blew his mind. Like, he could not believe that we were able to conceive something, and then 4 months later launch it, and then minutes later see the reaction. Like, it blew his mind.
Right, because to put that in perspective, a TV show from conception to getting it on the air might take, 9 months at best, a year. A movie, even longer than
5 years or more.
Right. So the turnaround is that, from somebody who's worked production, that's amazing.
The thing that I, just in thinking about where content is going, I think I have this conversation with a lot of people as far as what the digital revolution is doing for content in general. And the term incubate gets thrown around in almost every meeting that I have. What I'm more thrilled about with this, and the instant digestion from audiences, and also the instant feedback for us, is that I actually think that this might be one of the first examples of an IP that was mistakenly incubated online and actually pushed up because of fan reaction. And from a passion project, from a short film that I did on my own, to a web series that the fans loved, definitely led us to do the feature film. And now we're starting to see on Machinima, they're doing it with Ridley Scott now. They're going to incubate, 10 sci-fi shorts? 12.
I think, this is going to be an interesting, this group up here, Ed Boon, Warner Brothers and Kevin have literally, I think, changed the game forever for fans. I mean, it is absolutely proven. Ultimately, the biggest issue that all this content ever had was that it had to appeal to so many different people to be successful. And the beauty of what, Machinima and YouTube has done is allowed us to reach all the fans on a global basis, so we could stay a lot more narrow in its focus. We didn't really have to think about the masses, but really just think about what the fans wanted. I mean, Kevin had to think about it. We just put it up, and I think Kevin really took advantage of that. And we had seen that 2.2 billion views had been created before Kevin put up his short, of fans making Mortal Kombat everything. I mean, from we had done a bunch of stuff that was animated, fatalities that just didn't make the cut for Ed and team, and so we had made up new ones. And I can tell you right now that the embracing of what NetherRealm has embraced and what Warner Brothers embraced and what Kevin has pushed is going to change it forever. We are now gone from a point 3 years ago where we were begging to do stuff like this for all of us, and now it's the other way around. We're going to see, I think, today announced that Netflix won a bunch of Emmys. Has never happened before. I can tell you that's going to happen where Kevin is likely to win Best Director in that series, 3 years from now, on a series that's going to live, for the fans on a global basis, on something like Machinima, hopefully. So I think it's a really watershed moment.
All right, so we talked about it earlier. I think we need, who wants to see a clip? I guess that's a yes. All right, Kevin, do you want to introduce the clip?
Yeah, this is a dance segment, actually. It's Liu Kang asking out Katana. No, we're going to show you guys a new trailer, and then after that, we're going to show Katana and Melina fighting Johnny Cage.
I fight heroes.
So, with that said, why don't we just play it?
Yeah, let's go.